Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the Pakistan International School Taif, and we are discussing chemistry first year grade 11 and chapter number 3, modern theories of covalent bonding, and we already started Vesper theory, valence electron pair repulsion theory. So today we will discuss the structures of A, B, 3 and E. So dear students, when you be talking about the A, B, 3, E means electron pairs. These are electron pairs, but these are the bond pairs. And E is a lone pair. This is also electron pair. So electron pairs are 4. Total electron pairs are 4. B bonding electrons 3. E lone pair electrons 1, 3 and 1, 4. And out of the electron pair, bonding pair are 3 and lone pair is 1. So this is the arrangement, students. A, B, 3, E means electron pair are 4, bond pair 3 and lone pair is 1. So students, these are the atomic. This is the tetraatomic molecule with the one lone pair. So very famous example, important example, ammonia, phosphine gas. There are many others. Ammonia gas and phosphine gases. These contain 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 nitrogen, which is center, 3 hydrogen atom and 1 phosphorus. So there are 4 atoms with a lone pair, 3 bond pair, 1 lone pair. So if you are going to see, and already I told you, and this is very important, each and every point what I am discussing and telling you, writing on the board, you must understand very well. And you must write, you must produce in your examination. So this ammonia, nitrogen is a central atom, belongs to group number 5, 7 atomic number. So there are 5 electrons in the valence shell. This is the 1 electron, and this is the 2nd electron, and this is the 3rd electron, and this is the lone pair. And this is the 1 electron for the hydrogen, 1 electron for other hydrogen, and 1 electron for the 3rd hydrogen. So these 3 hydrogens are now complete. So students, this pair is a bond pair, bond pair, bond pair, 3 bond pairs. There are 3 bond pairs. This pair is not participating in the bond formation, so we call it non-bonding electron pair, or we call it lone pair. Lone pair. So this is the electronic geometry, and in the very first lecture for starting of the bonding, I told you the electronic geometry may be equal, may not be equal with the molecular geometry or bonding geometry. If there are no lone pairs, if there are no E, the electronic geometry will be same as a molecular geometry. But if there is a lone pair, because there is no molecule, no hydrogen to form a bond, no other element to form a bond, so that's why electron, when we say electron, so electron, this is electron pair, electron pair, electron pair, this is electron pair also. It means that nitrogen is surrounded towards 4 electron pairs. So when you are seeing there are 4 electron pairs at the corner of tetrahedron, so the geometry of the ammonia should be tetrahedral. Because of 4 electrons, electron I am saying. This is electron pair, electron pair, electron pair, electron, 4 electron pairs. So according to the electronic geometry of the ammonia, there are 4 electron pairs at the corner of tetrahedron. That's why its geometry must be tetrahedral, regular tetrahedral. But there is a big question. The question is that 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. This is a question. So if you study again the main postulates of this theory, the function of lone pair is only to occupy more space around the nucleus and create repulsion between the lone pair and adjacent bond pair. This is the function of lone pair. So that's why the final geometry of the molecule is molecular geometry or bonding geometry. So due to this factor, if you are going to draw a molecular geometry, there is a 1 electron pair which is a bond pair. Yes, this is a bond pair. Second electron pair is also bond pair. Okay. Third electron pair is also bond pair. This is a bond pair. So you are finding 3 bond pairs, and there is a 1 lone pair. So this 1 lone pair occupies more space around the central atom and creates repulsion. So that's why the angle is distorted. Shape is going to be changed, not tetrahedral according to electronic geometry. So the shape and the angle formed in ammonia is so you are seeing this is called trigonal pyramid. Around this pyramid, trigonal pyramid. The geometry is changed, deviate from tetrahedral to trigonal pyramid due to the presence of 1 lone pair electron, and angle is going to be changed from 109.5 to 107.5 degree. So angle is also deviated, angle is also changed. So dear students, according to Westphal theory, AB3E tetraatomic molecules, electron pair 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bond pairs are 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 is a lone pair. The molecular geometry of the ammonia and phosphine is trigonal pyramid, and angle which is formed between the lone pair and bond pair, adjacent bond pair, is 107.5 degree. So you should understand why the angle and the structure is going to be changed due to the presence of lone pair. So this is the structure of ammonia. You must see your book also. Now another one is a structure of water. Hydrogen sulfide. I am giving you hint. In examination, no. Water has 2 lone pairs around the oxygen. Sulfur has again 2 lone pairs around the sulfur's central atom. So here what I have write? A, B, 2 and E2. A, B2 and E2. It means that central atom oxygen or sulfur surrounded by 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. Total electron pairs are 4, bond pairs are 2, and lone pairs are also 2. Maximum lone pairs, if you see the van der Waals repulsion, already we discussed this before. So this is a triatomic molecule. Triatomic molecule, and 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs. So this is the oxygen, and oxygen has this one bond pair with hydrogen, second bond pairs with hydrogen, and there is a one lone pair and there is another lone pair. Like this one. It belongs to group number 6, atomic number 8. 6 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 utilized to form bond, 2 electron pairs are unshared. Same. Around oxygen, you are seeing there are 4 electron pairs. 4 electron, 1, 2, 3, 4. So geometry should be tetrahedral. If the electron pairs are at corners of tetrahedron, the geometry of the molecule must be tetrahedral. But here the situation is changed. The situation is that around the central atom oxygen, 2 are bond pairs and 2 are lone pairs. So when we are talking about lone pairs, so its geometry must be changed. Angle must be changed. So we will not consider the electronic geometry irregular geometries. I told you, when there is a lone pair, must write irregular. Irregular trigonal pyramid. Irregular V shape. So must write this one. So when you are going to write the molecular geometry, this is oxygen. This is the hydrogen bonded with the oxygen. And this hydrogen is also bonded with oxygen. So there are 2 bond pairs, 2 bond pairs. And this is the one lone pair, and there is another lone pair like this. So, dear students, if you want to see the structure, this is the one lone pair, and this is another lone pair. So, this is the geometry. This is the actual geometry of the water. And according to van der Waals repulsion, here is a maximum repulsion. There is a maximum repulsion between lone pair and lone pair, lone pair and bond pair, bond pair and bond. Means all kinds of van der Waals repulsions are present in water. All kinds of van der Waals repulsions are there. So it means that its angle is so distorted and shape of the molecule is going to be changed. So the angle is reduced further to 104.5 degree and the shape is angular. Angular. V-shaped. Non-linear. Water has a non-linear because you are now grade 11 and you were in grade 10. Then I will not means hard about the students that mostly they write the structure of water like this one. I ignored in grade 9 and 10. Somehow I told the students don't write this one. But now when you are talking about the bonding and structure of water according to the Westphal theory, there should be no doubt. There should be no doubt for writing the structure of water. This is a completely wrong. This structure is a wrong structure. Must write in this form. Means like this. Always write the structure of water in this form, not this. It's wrong. It's not a straight one. See, angular. So don't mistake. Dear students, here we are going to finish the applications of Westphal theory. We done all kinds. AB2, AB2. This is the AB2, E2, and AB3, AB4, AB3E, AB2E2. All we done the structures with their angles and reasons why the structure means electronic structure is different from the molecular structure, why they are same. So each and everything I told you, and you can find the all examples in one table. There the table you can find same as if there are two bond pairs, no lone pair, three atoms, the structure is linear. Three bonded atoms, three bond pairs, no lone pair, the structure is a regular trigonal planar. Four electron pairs, four bond pairs, no lone pair, this structure is a tetrahedral, angle is 109.5. There are four electron pairs, three are the bond pair, one is a lone pair, ammonia, the structure is a trigonal parabol. And there are four electron pairs, two bond pairs, two lone pairs, the structure is a V-shaped, or we called angular water and hydrogen sulfide. If there are three electron pairs, two bond pairs, one lone pair, and this is again V-shaped. The example is lead chloride, tin chloride, sulfur dioxide. So this brief description about the Westphal theory, all examples are given here. So this is about the Westphal theory. Now students, there is another but very simple. The molecule contains 5 electron pairs. Five. Five electron pairs means A, B, 5. No lone pair. There will be no lone pair A, B, 5. So it becomes increasingly difficult to visualize the true shape of molecules. The central atom containing 5 electron pairs, and all these are the bond pairs, and the system is a very complicated. And remember its geometry. The geometry is called trigonal bipyramid. Trigonal bipyramid. The molecule has geometry trigonal bipyramid, and the examples are phosphorus pentachloride. Phosphorus pentachloride, 5 electron pairs, all are bond pairs, no lone pair. So trigonal bipyramid structure is given here in this case. Other one is a molecule contains 6 electron pairs. 6 electron pairs. Electron pairs. A, B, 6. A, B, 6 electron pairs. And the example is given sulfur hexafluoride, sulfur hexafluoride, selenium hexafluoride, and etc. etc. So 6 electron pairs, 6 bond pairs, no lone pair. So the geometry of the molecule is octahedral. The geometry of molecule may be octahedral. And here is a trigonal bipyramid. Octahedral geometry when the system or molecule has 6 atoms surrounding it, sulfur hexafluoride, and you are seeing between fluorine and third fluorine 90 angle, and the distance between sulfur and fluorine is 156.4 picometers. So these are the system we done in this type of the theory, Vesper theory. So there are examples of same already done of the water. The same example is given here. Sulfur or oxygen belongs to 6th group of the periodic table. So there are 2 hydrogen atoms, they are surrounding towards sulfur and oxygen. The type is AB2E2. Already I told you there is no need for discussion. Number of electrons around the sulfur atom, there are only 8. Electron pairs are 4, bond pairs are 2, lone pairs are 2. So geometry is a V-shaped, already we discussed. So students, this is about the Vesper theory. Go through this very important this one. There many questions asked from this theory. Already I told you there are 3 theories. There are 3 theories. Now I am going to start second theory. Second theory. The second theory is valence bond theory. Valence bond VBT. Valence bond theory. All these are theories, not laws. They can be changed anytime with a new research. Valence bond theory. This theory was first proposed by Hitler and London in 1927. In 1927, the Hitler and London they introduced this theory, and later on the theory was developed by Pauling. This theory was developed by the Pauling, and this concept is based upon wave mechanical treatment of molecule. Wave mechanical treatment of the molecule, and has been successful in explaining that. This theory is going to explain what bond energies, number 2, bond length, number 3 is shapes of covalent molecules or compounds. Covalent molecules or compounds. So in the valence bond theory, bond energies, bond length, and shapes of covalent molecules. According to this theory, very important, please listen me carefully here, and you have attention towards the board and see your book also. A covalent bond between 2 atoms is formed when the atoms come to closer that the partially filled atomic orbital. This is very important. Partially partially filled atomic orbital. Partially filled, if S, this is a partially filled. If the P, this is a partially filled. Partially filled atomic orbital of one atom. Partially filled atomic orbital of one atom. This is the very, very important. Overlaps with the partially filled atomic orbitals of another atom. It means that there is overlapping between the two partially filled atomic orbitals. Partially filled atomic orbitals, there is overlapping. So this is a very important. Again, I am reading. A covalent bond of two atoms is formed when the atoms come close with each other with a partially filled atomic orbital of one atom overlaps the partially filled atomic orbital of the other. This is the very important point in the valence bond theory. The two overlapping orbitals retain their identity. No chemical change takes place. When these atomic orbitals overlap, I will explain overlapping, overlap with each other, there will be a no change in the characteristics. So retain their identity. By the term overlap means the two orbitals share same common region in space. So this is the point, this is a definition of the valence bond theory. So again I am telling you that according to the valence bond theory, there is overlapping between the two partially filled atomic orbitals, and these two orbitals retain their identity. This is the definition I told you. Now postulates of valence bond theory. Postulates of valence bond theory. Postulates of valence bond theory. So, dear students, if you read these postulates, a bond between the two atoms is formed by the overlapping, same, we are repeating the definition. Half-filled atomic orbitals of two atoms. The two overlapping atomic orbitals retain their identity, same repetition. This is a point number 1 or A. Number 2B. The two overlapping orbitals must have electrons of opposite spin. If there are two, one should have upper spin and another should have a downward spin. Okay. Opposite spin. The number of bonds formed by the atom is equal to number of unpaired electrons present in the valence shell of an atom. D. If only two orbitals overlap, when the two orbitals means one electron unpaired of one atom and other unpaired electron of other atom, when these two atomic orbitals overlap, then this is the very important, only one bond is formed, that is called single covalent bond, and we call sigma bond. Single covalent bond is formed, I'll explain here in detail. Single covalent bond is formed and which is called a sigma bond. If additional orbital overlap, then multiple bond, double bond is formed, triple bond is formed, we call pi bond. We call pi bonds going to be formed here. In order to form bond, overlapping orbital must have the same symmetry with respect to the bond axis. So the line joining the nuclei of two bonded atom is called bond axis. In overlapping of orbitals, energy is released. The system is exothermic. Amount of energy must be released. Greater the overlapping the orbitals, greater is the energy released and stronger will be the bond formed. Amount of energy is greater release, so it means that overlapping is a perfect greater overlapping and the bond will be formed in the strong bond is going to be formed. So dear students, in the next topic we will discuss drawbacks in the valence bond theory. So up to here we end. Thank you very much.